our downtown Phoenix studios, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. Alongside Alex Capriello, I'm Jake Garcia.
ASU football is on bye week, but we're not taking any breaks, are we?
No, we're not. Even us here at the campus-wide leader aren't immune to the chase for ratings, so while the team may have a bye this week, that doesn't mean football gets kicked off our lead position. By the time ASU plays its next game, 11 days will have gone by since its last, and this country will have a new president. This midseason intermission comes at a perfect time. No one seems to be healthy, and a 3-game losing streak could easily become 5 if something isn't fixed. We welcome in beat reporter Jacob Janauer to break it down in more detail. Jacob, looking at ASU's injury report top to bottom, a ton of impact starters are on the shelf. How big of a detriment has it been to this team?
It's a huge detriment, and Todd Graham even said after last week's loss to Oregon that he's never had a team that's been as banged up as this season's group, and there's been guys top to bottom, offense and defense, getting injured, and the effect of that is players like Dylan Sterling Cole and Kyle Williams, 2 true freshmen, being thrust into roles that they really aren't ready for yet. Even though they are talented, it should be the starters kind of playing in that role, and they kind of take a back seat, but because of the injuries, it's been an elevated role for those 2 guys.
Well, put on your doctor's hat now and give me some sort of timetable that these guys are expecting to miss. For ASU fans, any sort of optimism that the bye week can heal them?
You know, the bye week couldn't come at a better time, and even though Todd Graham hasn't given much insight into the timetable for a lot of players, he's been saying game time decision for almost everyone. This bye week will give them time to rest up, and you even saw today guys like Manny Wilkins and Demario Richard practicing with the first team. And while players like Salamo Fiso and Christian Sam and Armand Perry, 3 key cogs in their defensive attack, are still not practicing right now, they still have more time than usual to get healthy and make sure ASU is ready to go when they play Utah.
Well, ASU has off days Friday and Saturday. They'll start practice back up again on Monday and Tuesday. And remember to mark your calendars because it's a short week for them. Next Thursday at Sun Devil Stadium against Utah represents the final home game for this team of the season. He's Jacob Janauer, and you can check out all his work on CronkiteSports.com.
Men's basketball got up and running yesterday with an exhibition game against UC Santa Cruz. While it doesn't count towards the regular season record, it was a good warm-up for the Sun Devils as they took on the infamous Banana Slugs. Eliav Gabai has the story.
Arizona State took on the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs in an exhibition game to kick off Bobby Hurley's second year at the helm of Sun Devil Hoops. ASU had to shake off the rust after a long offseason. They struggled from the field, and the defense was lackluster, all the norms of an early season exhibition game. Then they began to get their swagger back by running the floor, attacking the paint, and hitting shots from deep. Senior forward Obina Oleka started the engine for the Sun Devils, and the team took off. But it was senior transfer guard Torian Graham who finished the half on fire for ASU.
At the beginning, had a couple jitters, but as the rhythm, I started getting back in the flow. I started off slow. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then the coach just told me, just slow down. It's just been a while. Just take my time. I was rushing a little bit, but after a while, I got in the flow.
In the second half, it was all Arizona State from start to finish. ASU's top scorer was Torian Graham with 23 points, shooting 56% from the field. The Sun Devils walked away with a 98-53 win over the Banana Slugs. Freshman Sam Cunliffe showed his athleticism and hustle, finishing with a team-high 9 rebounds.
Sam did pretty well, and you know, I think he again is capable of doing more, like most of our guys tonight. Because I know you know that he could put it on the floor, and you know, he could score the ball, and you know, so he did a nice job of that, I thought.
The ASU Sun Devils showed us 2 things that we should probably expect to see a lot more of for the rest of the season. 1, a run and gun offense, and 2, man-to-man defense. They also showed a lot of hustle for just being an exhibition game and a blowout for the most part. But we'll see that hustle continues in their home opener on November 11th at 7 p.m. right here in Tempe against Portland State. But for now, from Wells Fargo Arena, I'm Eliav Gabai, Cronkite Sports.
We now bring in our basketball reporter, Troy Tauscher, to talk a little bit about the Sun Devil men's basketball team and the way that some players will be making an impact this year on the floor. Now, there's a highly touted recruit in Sam Cunliffe. Everyone's talking about him. What should Sun Devil fans expect?
Well, highly touted is an underrated way to describe Cunliffe. He was ranked 41st overall in ESPN's Top 100, the highest recruit to come to ASU in nearly a decade. And the reason Sun Devil fans are going to like him immediately is because he's such exciting a playmaker. He's 6'6", he's a wing, he's got great athleticism, so fans are going to be seeing a lot of crazy dunks, a lot of insane game-winning shots. He's shown off his moves in things like Mill Madness and other times like that already. So Sun Devil fans are really going to like Cunliffe because he's very versatile and he brings so many skills to the table. And on top of that, he's just really exciting to watch, and I think that's something that Sun Devil fans are definitely going to like.
You're getting me excited already. There's another player, top 100 freshman center. His name is Jethro Shishumpa. Who is he and what can we expect from him?
Well, Shishumpa was a bit of a little-known recruit coming out of the Democratic Republic of Congo, of all places, but he's going to play a big role this season for the Sun Devils because one of the things that they really lack is size. Ever since Eric Jacobson graduated, they've been sort of up in the air about their starting center position. And Shishumpa, even though he's a freshman, is probably going to be thrown into the fire immediately. He's 6'10", great shot blocker. He can follow the ball around the floor, and he can time his leaps so he can just swat shots away left and right. And on top of that, he's a great rebounder. And those are two areas that the Sun Devils are really going to need to be competitive in if they want to do well in the Pac-12. They'll need to be able to rebound the basketball, and they'll need to be able to protect the rim. And Shishumpa brings both of those things to the table. So I think he's going to jump in immediately and make an impact.
Shishumpa and Cunliffe are some of the newcomers on this basketball team. But who are the returners that will be on the floor that we can expect to see and be making an impact?
Well, whenever I talk to someone who follows college basketball but doesn't really follow ASU, then one name they do always recognize is Trey Holder, and everyone knows who Trey Holder is. He was their most dynamic playmaker last season, led the team in scoring, started all 32 games he could play in, and overall he just made such a big impact for them. He really is the alpha dog of the team. And the good news for him is that even though he didn't shoot so well last season, the Sun Devils have more scoring and more depth around him so that he doesn't have to do all the work alone. So I would look for him to have another big season, and this one actually even better because he has to carry less of the load. And then the other player I really look at is Obina Oleka. Last season, he started some games, sort of split between coming off the bench, but he is now the staple at the power forward position because, again, the Sun Devils don't have a lot of big men, so he's going to need to come in and make substantial improvements. He can play inside, outside, he can do a variety of different things for this ASU team, and I think that he's primed for a big improvement year. So those are really the two names that I think Sun Devil fans are going to be focused on among the returning players this season.
A lot of big names hoping to make big impacts. Tip-off is November 11th against Portland State. Once again, that's Troy Tauscher.
Thanks, Alex. We're going to keep it on the hardwood, but go from men's to women's. And Chaz Fraser joins us now in studio to talk ASU women's basketball, a team that's picked to finish 4th in the Pac-12 for the upcoming season. You think this is a fair or unfair expectation?
Jake, I think it is fair, considering this team graduated 5 seniors, is bringing in 4 freshmen and 2 transfers. I mean, that's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that left, and then a lot of new pieces to put together a new puzzle. But I don't put it past Charlie Turner-Thorne to have this team operating like a well-oiled machine by the time Pac-12 play comes around. I mean, look, Jake, during the regular season, it's going to be a lot of role fitting and a lot of trial and error for this team. It's going to be about what freshmen or what other players can step up, rise to the occasion, and complement the few seniors that the Sun Devils do have.
Well, as we get our coverage ramped up, let's acquaint our viewers with some of the X factors, impact players on this team. Who's someone you're paying special attention to?
We have to go with Sabrina Haynes. I mean, last year against Washington State, she had 19 points, 14 points in the second quarter. That game really showed the potential and the ceiling that she has on her game. I mean, she was under the tutelage of great players like Alicia Davis, Katie Hampton. So I think this year is her time to rise at that guard spot for the Sun Devils, Jake.
This is a team that has had so much success as of late. They're a top 25 team year in and year out, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. You think number 3 is in the works for this season?
I think this team is going to get an NCAA bid. I mean, look, Jake, at Mill Madness, Charlie Turner-Thorne said this is one of the biggest, the fastest, and the deepest team that she has ever coached. I mean, the recruiting class was nothing short of stellar. It was top 10 in the nation. And then just another fact for you, Jake. Charlie Turner-Thorne has got 11 teams bid to the NCAA tournament. I mean, how do you go against something like that? That's sure pure greatness.
Well, Gino Auriemma stands on a pedestal by himself, but Charlie Turner-Thorne and this ASU program are certainly inching their way closer and closer to the nation's elite women's basketball programs.
That's great company to be in.
Yes, it is. And they open up their season a week from today. Until then, be sure to be on the lookout for all our coverage on CronkiteSports.com.
The ASU soccer team, which hasn't won a game since the first week of October, might be heaving a sweet sigh of relief with today's final game of the season against the University of Arizona. However, history tells us that the annual Territorial Cup always brings out the competitive drive in both rivals, regardless of record. Anthony Marroquin's got more on the duel in the desert.
After a long and unsuccessful season, the Sun Devils have only one thing on their mind. No matter what, you can't lose the rivalry.
I want to go out and win. I'm excited. I'm hoping we get a win out of it so we can keep the cup.
Arizona State won their last meeting with the University of Arizona 4-1, but many of the veteran players who helped secure that victory are no longer on the team and are now replaced by freshmen who have never played in a game like this.
I don't see us being nervous at all for this game. I think they're just going to step into the rivalry.
And yet for players like Lucy Lara, the nerves may not sink in until after the game when they have to address their teammates for the last time as active Sun Devil soccer players.
I love them and that I am going to miss them and that this game will be for them.
At 2-10, now is the time for reflection for ASU volleyball. 8 games left means some are auditioning for next year, and for others, it's about a proper send-off. That's what senior Cassidy Pickrell is experiencing. She caught up with Bobby Kraus in the latest edition of Sun Devil Sit Down.
Hi everybody, welcome to this special edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. I'm Bobby Kraus and I'm joined by senior outside hitter on the ASU volleyball team, Cassidy Pickrell. Cassidy, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, obviously we're in your senior year here at Arizona State. Does it feel real to have the name senior attached to your title?
Oh gosh, this whole year I've been trying to wrap my brain around it, and I don't know, people are like, so what year are you? And I'm like, a senior, and I don't know, not really, because I'm like, no, yeah, I've got one more semester, and they're like, so you're playing, right, that extra semester? Because I won't graduate until fall of 2017, and I'm like, well, no, I'm not playing, I'm just gonna be taking classes. So, I mean, it's hit me, but at the same time, I'm trying not to think about it. I have 10 games left, and it's weird to think about. It's really weird to think about.
So last season, you come into Arizona State, you end up at the end of the season, first in kills, tied for first in service aces, second in digs, fifth in blocks. How important was it for you to come in and make a good impression on your teammates as a transfer, to be able to show to them, I can play with you guys?
Not gonna lie, I was super nervous when I first transferred here. You can ask a lot of the girls. I didn't talk a lot. I was shaking in practice. I was nervous. I was like, these girls are big time. They're Pac-12, and I'm from Irvine, but I did okay there. But can I handle this? Am I good enough to play with these people? And Jason was awesome with that. He would pull me aside at the beginning of practices sometimes and just be like, hey, if I didn't want you here, I would not have recruited you here. If I didn't think you could do this, I would not have recruited you here. So it took a week and a half for me to be like, you know what, you deserve to be here. You're working hard, you're proving yourself, you're proving your worth. You can do this, you can play at this level. And so it was super important for me to just work my butt off for something that these girls have worked already to get here for. And to be a part of this awesome program. It was super important for me to make a really good impression on them from the get-go.
So coming to ASU, it meant that you were reunited with your younger sister, Kylie, who came in as a freshman last season. You've had a lot of success together on the court, going back to high school in Texas, a couple of state titles together. What has it been like to reconnect on the court and be able to play again with her?
It's been really fun. Not many people get to say they've played with their sister or sibling, for that matter, in college, in the same sport, or let alone say that they got set by their sister. So being able to be set by my sister for the past 2 years, and then 2 years in high school as well, is an experience that you can't really explain to most people, and an experience I would not have given up for the world.
So Jason Watson was obviously the coach that recruited you to Arizona State. He's not here anymore. He's been succeeded by head coach Stevie Mussey. How challenging has it been for you to play for 3 different coaches in 3 seasons, going back to UC Irvine?
I think my norm is changed. So at Irvine, I actually had my freshman year, our first assistant coach left, so I had a change there, and then sophomore year, Paula left, and then I changed schools, and now Stevie. So I think it hasn't been too difficult, just because every season I've had at least one coach or 2 coaches or an entire staff move on and go to a new program or move on in a different aspect of their life. And so I think it's pretty normal for me to experience this.
And overall, how would you like to be remembered as a Sun Devil and as a volleyball player in general?
I hope I'm just remembered as a good teammate, first and foremost. These girls, I hope, want to stay in touch with me after this season and stay in my life, because I know I want to keep them in my life. And I hope they see me as a good friend as well. We've gone through a lot together, this team, and we're still going through a lot. It's a grind, day in and day out, especially when you're not as successful as the top 25 programs in the country. And I hope they just remember me as somebody that was a positive influence on the court and off the court as well.
Cassidy, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
She's Cassidy Pickrell. I'm Bobby Kraus, and this has been another edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. See you next time.
At 1-7-0, ASU Hockey continues to struggle in its first Division I slate in the history of the program. Most recently, the Devils lost a pair to Harvard and were outscored 13-2. Next up on the schedule, only the most decorated program in college hockey. The Sun Devils face off against number 17, University of Michigan, tonight at 7:05 at Gila River Arena. The Wolverines currently sit at 3-1 on the season. After that, ASU will play 4 games on the road, facing off against New Hampshire, Boston College, and Penn State before closing out the month of November back here in Tempe.
Huge weekend tests for ASU's swim and dive teams. Their match against USC is getting underway right now. Both are ranked in the top 25, representing 2 of the 5 Pac-12 teams that can claim that honor. Here's Ryan Curry with what to watch for this weekend in Southern California as ASU looks to try to stay undefeated.
Coming off of wins against Utah, BYU, and now Denver, Arizona State swim team is 3-0, undefeated heading into their matchup this weekend against USC and UCLA. Now, obviously the team is really excited because they are undefeated, but that doesn't take away from their hard work and preparation into their biggest matchups this weekend.
My freshman year, 2 years ago, we had a great meet against USC when we traveled there. So I think the expectation is, go in, hopefully show them who we are, what ASU Swimming is turning into, especially since this past year at NCs, we beat both of their medley relays on the men's side.
Just seeing that our team is so supportive of one another and so happy for other teammates' successes, that is putting us on the right track, and that's working towards what we wanted just start of the year, saying what our goal was for the season. So I think that's had a huge impact on our success, just our team dynamic.
Alicia Bush, by the way, was just named Pac-12 Conference Swimmer of the Week. Now her and the rest of the deep talent on this ASU team are looking to give the Pac-12 Conference opponents a big run for their money this weekend. Here in Tempe, I'm Ryan Curry, Cronkite Sports.
So strong ending to a strong show. Alex, it looks like we violated the inverted pyramid rule. I guess the world will have to go on, though.
I think it will. There's nothing wrong with saving the best for last.
I guess so. So from all of us here at Cronkite Sports Live to all of you watching back at home, we thank you. Remember to check out cronkitesports.com for the latest in ASU athletics. For Alex Capriello, I'm Jake Garcia. We'll see you same time, same place next week.